Hey, I forgot. Oh! So, last week when we were trying to get that live thing up and running, um, and I came on early, I turned off the Welcome to Suicide Friend Saturday. So, we forgot to do the intro. So guess what I'm going to do now so that it doesn't occur. Oh, wait, no, that says delete. We don't want to delete that. Hold on, can I do it? Oh, good Lord. Maybe I can't do the thing I want to do. See, I just need my 29-second warm-up. DJ, for the love of peanut butter and jelly, will you fix my mistake and throw the intro back into the intro so it actually plays next week, so I don't have to forget again. So hey everybody, welcome to Mental Health Matters. It is Saturday night, unless you're watching the replay. Then it's whenever the heck you're watching the replay. But generally, since 2018, at around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, Saturday nights, we do this. And why are we here? Because 2 out of every 3 gun deaths that you hear about, 2 out of every 3 gun deaths you hear about are suicides. Death by firearm. And so if we're really trying to be honest and we want to actually save lives, we have to talk about mental health. Because it's nothing anybody wants to talk about. I was hanging out with G-Webs on his gun talk and Tony Simon earlier today. And I thought G-Webs made a very astute observation, which is if you break your finger, we talk about the broken finger, we talk about the need to put it in a cast or splint it or tape it or whatever you're going to do with your broken finger. And that's normal. Talking about being sad, upset, mad, frustrated, happy, joyful, all of those things, not so much. So, talking about mental health is important because of this. DJ is here in the back room with me. And he's going to be paying attention to your comments because I'm going to try to stay on track. Because when I have an actual outline, I'm trying to keep track of it a little bit. Apparently my dog has decided it's too hot in here because he's over there panting like crazy because I did turn off the AC. Well, because, you know, it makes a lot of noise. So, DJ will be in charge of keeping up with the chat. And we'll chat about it later. Alright, 2 out of 3 gun deaths are suicides. And if we actually talk about mental health, sorry, I'm also pushing buttons. Not only do we have a possibility, now here's the reality, we're not going to save every life in the world, but we can try. And if we talk about mental health, not only can we possibly help those people who would consider taking their lives with their firearms, we can help those people who are considering taking their lives at all. Suicide by car, suicide by pills, suicide by drowning, all of those lovely things, knives, all of that. So, our goal, try to help ourselves feel a little bit better. Because if we don't start with ourselves, we cannot help others. And another interesting conversation I was having with somebody was just the importance of, as easy as it can be to do for others, we must remember to do for ourselves, because we cannot pour from an empty cup. Alright, so there's your intro for tonight. If you are new, welcome in. If you are old, welcome in. If you're watching the replay, you can hit pause anytime you like. I didn't just freeze. Just kidding. Alright, so tonight, my goal is you're actually going to have a fair amount of, what are those called, resources, things to think about when we're done, things you can do and apply at any point in time in your life that you ever think of, and remember these things. And because it's YouTube, it's here forever. And you can always come back. Now, tonight we're going to talk about suffering. Because guess who's been suffering lately? Yeah, that would be me. And why am I suffering? We're going to get into that. See these guys? They're only up for 20 seconds, so you better all read fast. Ready? Or wait, is that, yeah, no, it's got the countdown and everything. Much of our suffering comes from the stories we tell ourselves. The resistance to what is, the ego's need to protect, be right, and be seen. What do I actually talk about often, right? What do I talk about? Violence. When we talk about the desire to be seen, heard, and understood, this is one of our biggest things. This is what feeds us. This is where we feel and are being acknowledged. Feel, seen, and understood. Our handy-dandy little ego. I'm not sure what the point of the ego is. I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a counselor, none of those things. But when you read the ego's need to protect, be right, and be seen, what are we protecting with our ego? What is it that, oh, I can't be wrong? I mean, oh my goodness, how could I possibly be wrong? Well, it's pretty easy to be wrong. We are wrong often, and oh, there it goes. I'm like, the little timer stopped going down. I'm like, what's going on? Sorry, I'm playing with the timers. I don't know what I'm doing. So, do you get it? The suffering comes from the stories we tell ourselves. Yours truly has been having some challenges, and I talked to my husband about this because he studies Stoicism. And Stoicism talks a lot about suffering, and this is where that idea of the suffering is what you're creating in here, what I'm creating in here, by telling the story that I'm telling, which is true. Now, as much as I don't understand the ego, the reality of it's here to stay. It isn't the enemy. Trying to destroy it only feeds it. The real shift is learning to watch it, name it, notice it, pay attention, accept it, and let it go. These are the things that we must do with our ego. And first we have to notice it though. When, ready, next one. See, I'm on track for real. This is why DJ's gotta like star things for me. When the how dare they or I feel worthless rises, simply name it. There's the ego protecting again. The small gap between noticing and reacting is where the freedom starts. Whew. I gotta tell you, I've had a whole lot of how dare they this week and last week. And well, I know you're all out there, that you would come and save me should I need it. But the truth of the matter is we must save ourselves before we can save those around us. We must take care of ourselves and guard our hearts and our minds and our souls and the things that we feed into ourselves. So when you have that how dare they feeling whatsoever, and I don't know about you, but when I have that how dare they feeling in me, I usually have some significant anger or frustration in there. Hawkeye's coming over to say hi. Oh, no, not that close. So, the feeling of how dare they, that's usually a pretty strong feeling. Feels like anger, feels like insult, feels like stinging, feels like breathlessness, could be a moment of holding one's breath, all of those things. And equally, and I'm going to show it one more time because I know it's only up there for 20 seconds, but so as much as GT3 wants this to be a 3-hour show, we're going to try to stay on track so I don't talk all day. I feel worthless. You are not worthless. That's the ego protecting something though. What is it protecting when you feel that I feel worthless? Because guess who also has had that this week? In the last few weeks, this one here. When do we feel that? What is going on? What garbage story is playing up here when I have that feeling of, oh, so worthless. Oh, can't get anything done. Oh, but other people do so much more. The I feel worthless often comes because we're comparing ourselves to someone or something else. And that's not fair. And that's the ego. Now, again, we can't kill it. We have to acknowledge it. Ooh, have you ever done Tai Chi? Have you ever read any Bruce Lee? Do you understand about using someone's energy against them? And it's not against them necessarily, but if I hold my hand here and you punch it as hard as you can, and I hold my hand here, it's gonna hurt. However, if I hold my hand here, y'all know what's coming, right? If I hold my hand here and you punch it as hard as you can, And as you're punching, I go like this to get out of the way of the punch. You're gonna throw your shoulder out, right? If I'm not gonna resist that feeling, if I'm not gonna resist that and try to push up against whatever force is coming at me, if I say, oh, look at that, there's a punch coming towards me, I'm just gonna let it go. Because that energy keeps going, because that's attached to that arm and that shoulder that was throwing it. I don't have to catch it. And so for me, the how dare they, I feel worthless, still ego. For different reasons. It's like, what is that story? Ooh, ready? Kind of leads into this next one. You don't have to force letting go. Forcing it usually creates more tension. Instead, allow the feeling to be there without judging it or acting on it. Ooh, there's some practice y'all need. Sorry, I'm not going to talk about y'all. You do what you need to do. I know. Letting go. I believe that in Frozen, there was a song that I'd never heard, but I'd heard people type it on Facebook. And then finally, because I knew Let It Go was such a big song, one of my girlfriends happened to put it up on her wall. And so I'm like, I should listen to it. So I clicked on play. And instead of the original Disney song that says, let it go, I don't know how the song actually goes. It was F it all, according to the song. So, I don't swear much. So there you have it. But that was kind of funny to me. The letting it go. Whew. So first we got to name it, realize it, that it's just our ego trying to protect ourselves. Then, letting it go. Just like I said, if I hold my hand and you try to punch it, right? And then it's going to make noise, it's going to hurt me, probably not going to hurt you. Depends on the rings you're wearing. Depends. But if I just flow with it, it's like, oh, there it is. I'm going to let it go. It's a beautiful thing. How do we do this? That is the challenge. We have to pay attention. We have to realize that our suffering is how we're thinking about it. It is the story that we are telling ourselves. And then the importance of understanding forcing it. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to get over this. Not generally how life works. The emotion has to move through you. You don't have to explode, punch things, or suppress it. Just feel the heat, the tightness, the sting, let it be. Oof. Do any of us like discomfort? I don't know. If you are, you might be called a masochist. And for some people that's healthy. For me, not so much. But I do find many of us are very good at holding on to our suffering for whatever reason. Because it's something to hold on to. It's comfortable. It's what we're used to. Because we've told that story over and over again of how dare they, or I'm worthless, or whatever story it is that's going on up there. The idea of just sitting in it. To me, I think it's like if I were a baby sitting in a poopy diaper. That's how much I would want to work through the emotion. However, if you notice, there is that physicality of it, right? There is that tightness of the throat. There is the shallow breathing in your chest. There is the clenched up body. I see it in my students all the time, actually. Their physicality, one of the things we talk about. Let me see if I can get this down a little bit. Because here's what happens to my students. It's still not quite far enough. I got a new camera. I'm not quite sure how to work with this yet. But anyway, when I have my new student and they have the gun in their hand and they're going like this, you know what this is? This is like the holy shit position of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? And I have them breathe. I'm like, okay, down to your belly button now. And they get their hands down here and oh wait, when I ask them to breathe, they can actually breathe now because they're not all big and little, just trying to be small. Because when we are scared, we ball up. If we can put our shoulders back, drop our hands, let our shoulders go down, and take the breath. It's a little bit easier to let stuff go. All right, I just showed you one, but now I'm going to show you more. When you notice you are having a bad moment in time where you're telling yourself a garbage story, chances are, or you become aware of an old story that does not serve you any longer. Name it, call it out loud. Let's see, what was my feeling? What was my story? It was garbage. Absolute utter garbage, unnecessary, and just ugh. All right, then, ready? You know, the next one's like one of my favorites, right? Just 1, 2, 3. That's it. You notice yourself actually having a bad moment. You notice things getting tight. Breathing. Actually paying attention to the thing you do all day long. All day long. And check in on that body of yours. Are we doing this? Are we ready to kill someone? We're not really going to kill anyone, are we? No, we are not. However, we are going to learn to put our shoulders down. Yes, yes, yes. And then our shoulders back and our head high. Because you know that fake it till you make it? That position you put your body in makes a difference. Not only to you, but to those who are around you. Alright, this one's a little bit harder. This is definitely harder. Feel it without the story. Just notice how your life is generally. Notice how you're carrying yourself generally. Not like the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard, just generally. Try to do it without the story. It's like, how am I? Time dilation. Here you go. Ready? So someone does something, or I allow one of those stinking stories to come up in my head, and I notice it. The next thing I do is, what? Do I care about this 30 minutes from now? Am I really going to care about this 30 days from now? 30 months from now? Will it matter? Helping do that time dilation to figure out what is what. And DJ's going to get ready to sell you guys. Woof! Say hi to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Because I only got 2 more, 3 more. And then we're done. Mostly. Alright, ready? Physical. Just shake your hands. Stomp your feet. And do whatever. I like dancing personally. I'll listen to music really, really loud. But sometimes, all we need to do is just physically move. Shake it out. Alright, ready? Roll your shoulders. All you poor people that are at your keyboards and you can't move any other body part. Just do the thing that does the thing. Oh, look, it's like he's got maracas and we're playing now. Alright, anyway. There's always going to be something. And this is why I'm not paying any attention to what the comments are, because I can only imagine. So I will watch them in the replay, maybe. Alright, here's one of my favorite Tony Robbins things. Exaggerate it until it becomes absurd. So, one of the things Tony Robbins taught was, I think whatever the story is ridiculous. And I don't need the protection. So, the speeding it up, going slower, all of that. I'm so mad. That's it. Then it's slow it down. Ready? I'm so mad. And then speed it up. I'm so mad! And it almost sounds like the helium voice. And scramble it like you're on a record. For those of us who are old enough to remember what records sound like if you scratch them. But the idea is, I'm so mad. You're not going to say I'm so mad like that, right? So you're scrambling your brain to still have the same thought and yet change it anyway. Alright, final one, DJ, I promise, for real. I know I said 15 minutes, but you know. You cannot stop the ego from showing up. You can stop feeding it. You can notice, accept, and train a better response. And for those of you who have not ever heard the story, There is a Native American story that talks about good wolf and bad wolf. And your kindness, your love, your peace, your compassion, generosity, humility is considered part of your good wolf. And then the ego, notice there's a little arrow to bad wolf. Anger, hatred, resentment, jealousy, greed, because none of those things make you feel happy. They make you feel powerful often, but they don't make you feel happy. So, the moral of the story is the one you feed gets stronger. And so, by naming it, by paying attention to it, by understanding that your ego is just the wolf that's trying to protect you. All right, Mr. DJ, do I have to add you on? You've gone gray. Do I still have you? Oh, there you are. Yay! Oh, and then you were gone. I didn't touch it, I swear. I saw you gray, and then you were dark. And now you're dark again. Or, see, my hands are still up. I'm not doing anything. All right. You good? We got stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
All right. You got 3 starred. You want to run through them?
How about after I give you your roll call, you can bring them
Okay,
in.
roll call it is
Yeah,
first. Let me know how
as
we're going.
you wish. Well, Krabby Turtle first in the room tonight. Also, Chris Bulldog is out there. So is Pack Rats Addict. G23 Reviews is in the room. Didn't see him last week. I hope he definitely caught up on that interview. Chasing Ghost, Hillbilly Up is out there. So sorry, a fan 93. Jamie JH586. Salute to Roscoe. Woods 71 is out there. So is TJ Fishing and Shooting. And Mike Ballinger was the last new face in the room. Wish I had a way to let you know who was out there on Facebook, but I think there are a couple over there listening as well.
Gotcha. I don't know how to know either. Honestly, that's why you're my tech guy.
Right. And I did have a few things highlighted for you. And the first one I want to bring to your screen is this from Jamie. He says, I'm about to be 64 years old. I've got nothing I need to prove to anyone anymore. But that said, why do I still have to be right? I don't, but the ego thinks so. And I can relate to everything that he just said.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not 64, I don't think. So there's that.
But I can relate to it. I can relate to an age of admission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being willing to say your age out loud in mixed company sort of thing. I've gotten to that point.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I've never understood the whole, don't tell anyone how old you are. I'm like, dude, I look good for my age. I will tell anyone how old I am. So, yeah, the ego is messed up. Like I said, luckily I have my husband to talk to about the whole stoicism thing. But it's just like, understanding your ego is trying to protect you. It's like, well, what is it protecting me from? And it's about survival and all of those things. But it's, I can't speak for everyone. As far as I know, that need to be right, it's a very powerful feeling. It's like, oh, look how smart I am. Oh, why doesn't everyone think like me? Oh, obviously I've thought this through the right way. They don't know what they're talking about. Who said that before out loud? Oh, I just did. Yeah. Have I thought that way from time to time? Yeah. I'd be a liar if I said that was not true. Because I'm like, what makes sense to me should make sense to you is what the ego says. And yeah, go ahead. You can put Woods back up there. Putting on your own life jacket first. Yes, that is the pour. One cannot pour from an empty cup. Put your life jacket on first, put your air mask on first. If you've ever flown, they're always going to tell you, put your oxygen on before you put it on somebody else. Because if you're passed out, you can't help anyone. And EMT training, first aid training, emergency services, it's always, is the scene safe? And this is why it's one of the hardest jobs in the world, is because there could be someone that you could help, but is the scene safe for you first? Because you don't want to become the next person. I'm sorry, I have to move on to the suffering and sarcasm is my operating system. Sarcasm, I cannot figure out half of the time. Because I am that gullible person who you will say, oh, it's this. I'll be like, oh, really? And then y'all have a good laugh. So, yeah, I'm not so great at the whole sarcasm thing. What about you, Woods? There you go. What about you, DJ? Are you good at suffering and sarcasm as well?
exceedingly. But it's the practice of sarcasm. Sarcasm when you're using it for humor is a great way to get out some of those feelings that you have, because you're able to, as you change the intonation or the speed of what it is that you're saying to emphasize the sarcasm in what it is, you get to put the point that is bothersome right out front. You get to address it right there. You get to pinpoint it for the other person, and then you get to couch it in some humor, and then let the ball roll. See how see if they want to pick it up and play that game, sort of thing. Yeah.
All right. Just remember, you ever play the game with me, I may not realize you're being sarcastic. So just warning, fair warning.
Yeah, you definitely have to be sensitive to your audience. Sometimes it won't play that way. But then at least there is that little bit of humor that is there, pads you into the next part of the interaction.
You will be laughing your ass off because you will understand that I have no clue, so you will have a great time. And I'll just be like, oh, really? Okay. So.
But you have the ability to move from being clueless to being confident.
Sometimes. It's usually not till after you start cracking up. So, I used to ask if I was mad. I would say, heck yeah, I'm mad. Her response, get glad in the same panties you got mad in. So, yeah, I figured that had to go in there. But anyway, oh, dude. So, Pack Rat's Attic, 30 years in public service. Yeah, public service is rough, man. It is. Yeah, so this is a question for everyone's ego. Who are you really trying to convince you're right? And that's the funny thing, odd thing, all of those things. It's just like, who do we have to, and this is where the stoicism comes in. And I don't know, DJ, do you study stoicism at all? Do you have any favorite quotes? I had a whole bunch of them, but then I forgot to pull them up. So
it's not as an active sort of thing. When I was a younger man, most certainly, and Woods is out there, and we're both fans of Marcus Aurelius. Yeah,
I think I have that. No, let me rephrase. I believe that Sean bought that for the family, and so far I've read it, Nadia's read it, he's read it, and maybe Max has read it.
Well, and for anybody who's on like the younger side of their years, Stoicism is one of those things you can read about, you can study, you can understand, but age and experience really does help to combine with the wisdoms of things like being able to lead a stoic lifestyle or approach things in that manner. It really does. And as much as we're bagging on the ego tonight, the ego really is good for a couple of different things, because it helps to establish your sense of identity. It gives you the confidence, that's who you believe you are. And so it gives you confidence to be the you that you want to be. We don't always get to be the people that we wish to be in situations. And that's where that experience, the wisdom, perhaps, a stoic sort of reflection will end up helping you and allowing you to be of use to others. But it is stripping away the more negative portions of that ego that I'm convinced needs to be done in my life. And I meet some people every once in a while I feel the same exact way about. I wish it was something that was easier to talk about, even in our interpersonal relationships, because sometimes there's a reason.
Oops.
Or go ahead.
No, sorry, I clicked on the wrong one, because I was going to go back to the ego. What happens if you're head and you're wrong? And to the thing of the ego wanting to protect you, and that's what you're talking about right now, is that the ego is protecting your identity of who you are, what you know, and that sort of thing. And fair. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
And so when people will call that into question, even if it's something as simple as, well, the real answer is, I believe to be 14. Well, no, I believe it to be 13.
I think it's 7.
Yeah, and so like giving equal weight to all of those things along the way and respecting the people and the conversation, that's where a lot of people get tripped up. They really just want to be able to stand stock still on what their answer is and defend their position. The ego is the bad part of that won't allow you to see that maybe you are wrong. That's the in your head there from Edward Smith 2460. Welcome to the room. That's the thing that I think people get into trouble with socially, is they don't really know how to respond when they're wrong, because saving face becomes paramount. Don't want to be shamed, particularly if it is one of your close friends or in larger public gatherings. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, remember how I was saying how I'm not really good at sarcasm and I can't detect it? I think I've gotten smarter because I have a feeling this is sarcastic. And to Edward Smith's point, one person whose opinion mattered, who would it be? And it's just like, I don't know. And that's sort of the funny thing. But, all right, meditations. Oh, we're talking Marcus Aurelius. Sorry. I'm like, what? Meditations? Which meditations? But I'm assuming, Woods, you're talking about meditations by Marcus Aurelius, since DJ just brought that up. I have a holy book, chapter 10, verse 3. I'll have to go look that up. Unless you happen to have it on hand, DJ. Do you have it on hand?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But when you were talking about letting it go and then not forcing it, I was like, okay, and even though there were instructions provided with reinforcements on the screen, and I was still, how do you let it go without forcing it? And it's like how much force is necessary. Sometimes it's easy to do that, but sometimes, honestly, Brooke, I have to force it. If I don't force it, wow. It only has led me in the past in some situations to even greater grief if I don't force it. If I don't sit there and say to myself, DJ, give it up. You just give it up, man.
Right, and so instead of forcing it, you could give it a different name. Because one of the things when I was with Dean Graziosi is like the words we use are important. So maybe you're not forcing it, you're just recreating a new story that allows you to let it go. But it feels like it's hard because creating the new story is also hard. So but I got you, man. It's just like I said, had a rough couple weeks here, and it's just been like, I don't want to be mad and angry, but I am mad and angry. And then, well, why am I mad and angry? And then, should I be? No. And should those people have any room up here to get me upset? No. Because my anger never helps me, and it doesn't affect the people making me mad and angry. So it does not serve me to be mad and angry and want to punch things and things like that. So I have to change the story that I'm telling. And like you said, it's like it may feel like you're forcing, but maybe you're just, building that new muscle by saying, okay, here's a new story. I'm going to make this story work.
Yeah, sometimes for me, one of the challenges is that, suffering keeps you warm.
It does.
It really will.
It's a warm, fuzzy thing that we like to hold on to. And it's just sometimes we know that we're holding on to it because it's our normal. It's our comfort. It's our little blanket we wrap ourselves around, and we're like, oh, I'm suffering so well. Oh, I'm good at suffering. I like suffering. Even though we're miserable. But it's what we're comfortable with. And it's what
sometimes the intensity of that emotion, for me at least, what it does is it reminds me of my own humanity. My problem is making the switch to accepting that and wishing to reform. I mean, reforming is a little bit more technical than I think of those things in my own head in those situations. But yeah, the suffering keeping me warm, reminding me of the fact that I am a human being and that I am therefore fallible, sort of thing. It doesn't always make the ego click hard enough or fast enough to create change. And so then there's the sitting and how many conversations have you and I had where you're like, dude, you're stewing. How's the stewing going?
Well, and for anyone listening, DJ, just so we're clear, these conversations go in both directions. It's not me telling him. It goes bi-directional here because early pre-show, before this show even started, I was talking about Pack Rat's Attic and just saying how life is hard. We're always going through a different cosine or wave or season or whatever word makes you happy. Because you know, most of us have really quality problems. We just have to pay attention to the fact that we have really quality problems. We are blessed to be Americans, as far as I know. Most everybody's watching is that. We all are fed. We got a roof over our head. We got clothes on our back. There's plenty of people who don't even have that. And it's just like sometimes coming back to the basis and really like, because when I get mad and angry about stuff, I'm like, well, let's think about all the amazing, spectacular things. So when it comes to all of the random stuff that I put out there, understanding that it's about the story. What story are we telling ourselves? And what is the ego trying to protect? Because, like DJ said, if it's something worthwhile, let it protect it. But figure out a way to move through it. And like I said, sometimes the moving is actually moving. Like I like, what the heck is it called? Beat Saber. And I got a VR headset and I can just listen to music really loud and move around. Moving is a big thing. Fake it till you make it. And there you have it. All right, sir. I told my daughter I would be up in 10 minutes.
Well,
So,
you said so, but I have to show this. Jamie out there saying, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I'm going to be. Praise God. I ain't where I used to be. Yeah.
yeah. And actually,
That's perspective. Yeah.
And it's actually one of the things I thought about while prepping this show tonight is that having faith is so important because it gives you hope and resilience that atheists do not have. And it's just like to know that there's something bigger, greater than you out there, and that you can believe in a higher good, believe in a higher purpose. And it's like my whole thing is God's omniscient, He knows everything, therefore He's put you right where you're meant to be. The suffering is necessary. No one gets through the life of Job in the Old Testament. It's just like, here's God's best disciple person that does everything God says, and his life is total and complete garbage, and yet he continues on with a smile on his face and continues on. There's another parable about the farmer who loses his horses, and he's like, oh, that's too bad. He's like, maybe. And then the horses come back, and the mayor comes back, and like, oh, you're so blessed. He's like, maybe. Then his son tries to tame one of the horses, breaks his leg. Oh, that's so horrible. And the farmer says, maybe. And it's just like, we don't know what the plans are. And the next thing could be a little bit better. But if we don't go through the suffering, it's not that we can get through without suffering. It's what can we learn from it? How do we grow? And how do we make our lives better because we know of it? All right.
And check this out, though, from TJ Fishing and Shooting, and then I will hand the mic back for a close kind of thing. And this is from TJ Fishing and Shooting. To strive for perfection in character is my motto. That's a strong motto, man. That's good. I take it.
Yeah. Well, I am always looking for constant and never-ending improvement because I've never seen perfection. There's been moments of them, and this could be the perfect moment, but guess what? The next moment could be even better. So, all right, sir, all you, man.
It's all me. Well, it's been mostly you, but mostly, guess what? All of us together. And that means that it's been another Saturday here on the Great Start Shooting School Challenge channel, where we've been challenged with thinking about ourselves, thinking about others, thinking about ways that we can improve the environment in our own head and in our own communities. And I'm glad to be part of a community that includes people like the Krabby Turtle, Chris Bulldog, Pack Rat's Attic, G23 Reviews, Chasing Ghost, Hillbilly Up, Sorry Fan 93, Jamie JH586, Woods 71, TJ Fishing and Shooting, Mike Ballinger, Edward Smith, and the Agorizer. Thanks for being here, everybody. Next week, bring a friend. And until we see each other again, be safe, have fun, take care of yourself and your crew. And you know what's coming up next. You gotta rock. We're out.
That